Hello, everyone. Welcome to another behind-the-scenes commentary. My name is Joe Kendrick. I'm the director of The Raven of Telltale. I am joined by two special guests. Would they like to introduce themselves? In no particular order.
I don't think we would like to
I
introduce
don't think we would like to introduce ourselves.
I think their mouths are full.
Mine wasn't full.
Mine was not full.
I'm Noah Gentry. I played Simon in this film. I was also the acting consultant.
That is the title that you gave yourself.
Yes. My name is Paul Condon. I played Ralph in the film, and I served as assistant editor.
And I'm Joe Kendrick. I served as lead writer, actor, music supervisor, house composer, visual effects artist, and lead stud for The Raven of Telltale.
There's Noah.
There's Noah. Hello. There's my hand.
But your car.
There's my car. What do you know? All the aspects of a Joe Kendrick movie. Noah's face, my car.
I think instead of a commentary, we should just point things out. Like, hey, there's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I will say is the first interesting fact that is going to come in this commentary. If you look very closely, you can see how swollen my neck is in this first scene.
Ooh.
That's because I had just come down with a case of mono, and it was undiagnosed at the time. And so we filmed while I was very sick. I was very tired during this whole shoot.
The whole shoot. With different illnesses. You had the whole cast of illnesses.
That's true.
On your side.
It was really just colds after this.
Yeah, there was.
No, there was a whooping cough stint.
There was a whooping cough.
It was whooping cough, but it wasn't whooping cough. We still got through it.
That's how it gets you. Makes you think it's whooping cough. This is I think this is a good scene. Mm-hmm. Pretty much all of y'all's main scenes are good scenes. But I like this one. Because, of course, as you can imagine, this wasn't originally necessarily meant to be the first scene.
What was?
So, see, I made a couple mistakes when I started writing this movie, and it was to write it as a musical first. That was one of the mistakes. Because then I ended up kind of creating these songs that, of course, never got recorded, never got filmed. That required scenes that never got filmed or recorded. So originally there was going to be a scene with Diana where she was singing, and there was going to be a more coherent song throughout. But of course Diana never has a singing voice, so scenes like that never happened. So, but I think this still sets up all the background information. But you can definitely tell that there's a lot of stuff missing here. Probably half the songs I wrote ended up being cut because I was not foreseeing enough. Just a little behind the scenes trivia for you.
What I like about this scene is that it's one of the few scenes where two people actually appear in camera together.
This is true. This is true. One of the few scenes we were able to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of my
Another
fortune.
one being the greenhouse scene.
Greenhouse scene's a very good scene. Here we have the opening titles that were not added until after the rough cut was done. We can say something about that because we had a pseudo premiere. I call it pseudo because we were showing a rough cut party. I guess this is the closest we've gotten to a premiere of the final cut. But I thought that was a great doing by our host, who I talked to Paul about it a week before, and was like, I think I'm gonna have a rough cut ready before I go. And then he made it happen.
Yeah, based on the book Wishing for Wings, you guys should all go check that out. Read.
It's funny because it's based on the book. The book was not written until long after the final cut was.
Let's not say that out loud.
Okay, it's not said aloud. The book was published before the movie came out. That's what matters.
But what was based on what?
That's up for you to decide. So.
You should write at the beginning of the
How
book,
did you get this
based
news
on the
footage?
Raven of Telltale.
Well, this was all news footage from the YouTubes. All of course about Bigfoot and Bigfoot photos. So all you got to do is trim around for things where they don't use the proper noun. Yeah, the pronouns. And,
Yeah.
You know, And then there you go. There's your, and then have voiceover about the Raven.
I was definitely flexing my shoulders at that moment.
Bro, that's a mood. Yeah, this is one of the few scenes where I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It wasn't until last night when I just made sure that this local file had everything on it, that it was the full cut. That I hadn't watched the whole thing since it came out. So it's weird because there are things that I do forget about it because it's been 3/4 of a year really since we filmed most of it.
Sure.
Or about half.
Half a year to 3/4 because some of it
We
was in
filmed a
March,
lot of
April.
We
Yeah, a
filmed
lot
most
over the
in
summer.
July, I feel like.
Most of it probably was July.
I filmed in June.
Yeah, a lot of your stuff was in June. Or I guess all of your
That's
stuff
true.
because
Most
you
of it
left
was
June.
in June.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I came back late July, and I don't know if I filmed any.
I don't think you filmed anything afterwards. I think you.
But you came back early. We weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were already done with you. That's one of the few things that we did right here in preparing for this. So.
Plus, we were trying to get a lot of shooting done before we started working on the yellow tape.
Exactly, which is another great product. Do you have anything else you can say about
No.
that? I don't know. It's a good. Y'all go listen to the yellow tape after.
Yeah,
You,
for those of you who don't know, it is a mixtape / LP
Sure,
on
whatever you want to call it.
Noah's SoundCloud.
yeah.
You can find the
Link
link
will be in the
on
description.
Joe's website.
It is on my website. I think it's the first in the collabs list. If you go to the music section of my website, you can also find this movie here. You can find the book here. You can find all kinds of stuff on the website. All things I've either made or had a hand in making.
I think it's interesting. My second appearance in the film is the last scene that I filmed.
Yeah, this was the last scene that
Yeah.
you filmed. Yeah.
Was Joy there for that?
No, she was not.
Okay, because when I was filming in June, it was still undecided who would be.
Right.
Playing Diana.
It's no secret that Diana was our recast. I'm not going to say anything more than that.
We would have wanted someone else.
That's off the record. But so that's part of why production schedule was kind of skewed in certain ways as to that. That's what I blame. There's some things I could have done better. Now,
Like, no.
yeah, yep. So yeah, Joy and you were supposed to shoot together, but there was just scheduling conflicts, and we didn't have much time before I know I had to go.
I will say that I was impressed by the fact that you were able to film around us, never being in the
Right.
same
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
vicinity.
a good skill to have. I try not to exercise it.
You don't. You
well, you did a
exercised
great
it
job
like
exercising
almost
it.
every time.
Probably half the times in the movie.
No, I do like the editing here.
Yes, the edit is very
I
good.
think the special effects here were fantastic.
All in all, I'm very proud of this. I didn't really realize the importance of editing, probably until, there were so many mistakes in Oz that were made because of the editing. And there's still technical things here that I wish I could have improved.
Like that shot right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, like
Gorgeous.
that shot, sure. Beautiful shot of the eye twitching.
Really trying to make those veins pop.
It really was, and I was hoping that just some aching and some music would have carried the illusion, but that's for you to decide. So this was the
Really
part
just all around great acting in this scene.
in
Yeah.
this scene, the dialogue, fantastic.
Joy seems really terrified that you are just changing in front of her eyes.
Exactly. I don't know. This is the part of the film where you can tell a lot of scenes were just kind of cut either because of time or. There was one dialogue scene that was going to happen after this scene, but
Yeah. Well, wasn't there a musical number?
there was a musical number.
Yeah.
Go to the behind the scenes and see the deleted scene. There was, there were two other musical numbers that were going to be between Diana and Victor. Those were cut because Diana didn't have a singing voice, but then there was one that was filmed that ended up being cut too. But just because there were some performance issues in that scene on both ends,
Oh, I think I killed this scene.
you did good here.
I think I'm proud of this scene.
I mean, it's a very seductive performance.
It's very moving, very seductive. I wish my mic
I
could
kind
have
of
been
missed the
better.
haircut I had there.
I'm gonna be real. I was thinking that too, and you're kind of getting it back now.
No, not really. It's too long.
I mean, if you compare it to your shorter hair in the rest of the movie,
Yeah.
you're closer to this. All things
That's
considered.
that's a fair analysis. I'll give that to you.
Yeah. As I'm looking at it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of those scenes where I really enjoyed making Simon the villain, which, as we established on behind the scenes material before, was Noah's idea. And I've said before, I think, in your best situations, the actors are the people who know the characters best. So when they can look at the writer and say, no, this is what the character would do. You write, you know them. You're the one acting.
Oh, I did the editing on this scene.
Paul
Somewhat.
did do the editing. He did the
red flare around the edges.
the red flare, yeah, the kind of blood kind of look, the blood smear.
I can't tell you how many times this scene was sent to me.
Yeah.
You can see the red smears around the edges like intensify. in that
Yeah.
moment.
I like this scene. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
That's one of the things I'm proud of. There's some scenes I feel like are clunkers. I don't know. But there's some real good stuff in here. Mainly Paul and Noah's scenes. But so yeah, we're about to come up to this greenhouse scene, which you can probably tell was all recorded in post.
Yeah.
Dialogue wise.
Yeah, auditorially.
Yeah, auditorily.
The reason is we were filming in a greenhouse,
Yeah. So you can
so
imagine.
the sound was not good.
And the day of, I remember we were thinking like, no, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
That's
But
what I
if
was
you were in
thinking.
there, all you could hear was the whooshing of the fan. Like,
Yeah. That's part of the game. And that's the only scene we did ADR though.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yes.
one that we did it for.
well, I mean, if you don't count all the singing.
That's fair. If you don't count the singing. Which I guess,
I love that transition.
Yeah.
yeah. I like the music here. Yeah, I did all the scoring, by the way.
Still like your haircut
Not all
now?
of it. Yeah.
Oh, wait, it's a different haircut.
So yeah, about 60% of the music was original scoring. There was probably 40% that ended up being like royalty-free music. And that was just to ease the process of editing and make that flow a little quicker. I like this moment between these two. And y'all would be impressed by how much that Noah and Paul memorized while filming this. They would take like sections of dialogue at a time,
That's right.
look at the script, and then look up and be like, all right, we're doing it.
Yeah, I hate filming and not knowing my lines.
Yeah.
And Noah and I had to film ADR for this scene, as Joe said, and we did it in one take. So
Yeah. No, I was very impressed by the ADR. And I was
Took
so
a while,
happy.
but
It did take a while. It took some.
it took about 15 minutes once we actually got started, though.
you know,
That's how it is sometimes.
It just took you a while to get to us.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's your fault.
It gave me some grief. But I know that like it got done ahead of schedule. So, all things considered. Yeah, I feel like that was the happiest I'd been that month when I was like, this scene can finally be done. I can finally.
So I
finish
think
editing.
Victor's performance in this scene, your performance, Joe, is actually like very good.
I think there's stuff to say about it because, of course, I'm on both ends of the table.
Right.
yeah.
Well, with Victor especially, you're like very really. I mean, you don't have anything to say. I don't know, something about the performance there. It just seems authentic.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was worried that Victor was a boring character. Because he doesn't.
Who lives like half their life as a creature. Yeah. You would think he's a little more messed up.
That is kind of one of the only things that's interesting about him, and that doesn't affect his dialogue here at all. But that's kind of how it is with original characters sometimes.
Right.
So,
It's all part of a learning process, though.
yeah, and we've all improved so much.
There was just a huge. I'm the Raven.
Yeah, I did that a couple times in this movie.
This was a fun scene.
Yeah, we're getting into the bathroom part of the film, where we spend about 10 minutes of the film just in a bathroom.
It's in 10 minutes?
It's, I think, like closer to like 6 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You do the math. So time-wise, we're at 15 minutes, give or take. So we'll see how long it takes to get to the end of the bathroom sequence.
Oh, okay.
I think it's around like 21 minutes, but we'll see. We'll see. It's been a minute. I think this is another good scene too, from Noah's part.
But this was another one of those scenes that me and Joy were not in the same space as one another.
Did you ever lay eyes on Joy while
Never.
you were with Joy filming?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never
Or
filmed
with
a
Joe.
single scene with Joy.
They were so close. You know, y'all were 3 days apart filming this. Y'all were 3 days apart, and I was like, if y'all schedules could have just matched.
I feel like it came out the same way it would have, though.
I mean, you're probably
Yeah,
right,
that's a
all
good
things
point.
considered.
Well, because you only had one camera, so it's not like it
Exactly.
would have been the same take anyways.
It's like when we were doing our scene on the bridge. It's pretty much like, I mean, we read through the whole script, but like we would do just your lines and then just my lines,
Yeah, that's true.
which is how that was done, just at a slower rate.
Okay, so yeah, here is another part of the bathroom sequence.
We're back in the bathroom. We stay in here for a while now.
Joe, with Victor, like, does he always wash his hands, or just when he's like alone in the bathroom?
That's a fair question. See, there are things about The Raven of Telltale that make it an original product, and that's because some concepts are not completely thought out. It's like if Victor becomes the Raven because he comes into contact with water, how does that affect his bathroom experience on the daily?
I was about to say, I think I would have liked to see some more development in that category. Like maybe he always had really dirty hands or
Right.
something.
Right.
That would have been clever.
I think in
Very
the
unkempt hair.
in the
Yeah.
He
book,
can't shower
Can't
or
shower.
bathe.
right? I wish I had gotten more into that. I think there's a line in the book about him always carrying an umbrella.
Yeah.
I don't remember, because it's also been like 2 months since I spat out the book.
Well, filming this scene, I feel like took forever.
Yeah, we had to get a lot of takes on that shot,
Yeah.
and that was just because of
But
camera
I think it was
positioning.
worth it.
Oh, I think
Oh,
so
yeah.
too. I enjoy this scene. I enjoy all parts of this scene.
Well, there was ADR used on this one too, right?
Well, yeah, because for the Raven talking,
Right.
it was that.
Paul, I thought your acting was superb in this scene.
Paul-
I remember this being sent to me. And
Yeah.
watching it and just thinking, this is fantastic.
During the fight part or during the?
when you
singing
hold
part?
your grandfather.
That I remember.
I thought that was excellent.
I was almost brought to tears. I think the
remember
first time I saw the
telling
cut.
Joe, do you want me to cry? And he was like, can you?
Yeah,
And I
can
was
you?
like, yeah. But then I couldn't.
We had to dab some water on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to dab a tear. But Paul's next thing that he does, I remember the first time I did any editing when I had the footage for it, which was in like March or April. I looked at it, made a cut, and I said, "This is legit emotionally moving." Like I don't know if I cried, but I got close to it. Yeah, here it is. This song too. You're singing on this. Paul is one of the 2 singers in the film. You can tell this.
Even in the original version, Simon never sang.
That's
Which
true.
I find kind of surprising.
And I've come to doubt that decision in the recent past.
Yeah.
What do you think The Raven of Telltale would have been like with Simon singing? Was there room for it?
In this cut,
Like that's.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But
If
I wonder.
if you wanted me to cut it down to the bare bones, I would think this song is the only one that's necessary.
Oh yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. The one at the end of the line,
Yeah.
or whatever one the Raven also sings a little bit in.
That's no going back.
Right.
They're pretty
Yeah,
much
no
the same
going back.
songs. They go back to back.
I feel like the music there kind of intensifies
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's going on.
There is an argument that it slows down the movie, because I feel like it's going fast, things are building up, and then it just slows down for this long musical number that takes 10 minutes.
But also, I mean, coming from a minimalist standpoint,
Right,
I would
Yes.
say we could just leave this in and I would be happy.
right.
Yeah.
No, me too.
And Joe knows this about me. That I either go full minimalist or full maximalist.
Right.
There's not a lot of middle ground.
It's
Maximalist. That sounds like an awesome like rock band.
maximalist.
Maximalist.
It's like Maximilian.
Sure. Wait, was that a rock band?
I don't know. I just know that's like a Spartan, right?
I don't know.
What was Maximilian? leave a comment down in the comments where you leave comments and tell us what where did Maximilian come from? I've seen Gladiator. I know he's from somewhere.
I know he's from somewhere. Well, you can say that about anyone. Anything.
That one, yeah, about anything's from somewhere.
Yeah.
Some things don't come from places.
Also true.
It's true. So that was 20. We're at 20. So that was 5 minutes. We spent 5 minutes in the bathroom.
Wow.
So yeah, welcome to the other side. We're still in a house. We're still not in a natural setting yet.
Yeah.
But this was one of those scenes where I was like, I want to pad the time a little bit and increase drama a little bit.
This is one of my favorite scenes.
You think so?
Yeah.
Just me reading from a fake blog post. Part of me felt like it was cheating.
I mean, I think this scene humanizes Victor more.
Yeah.
It shows that he's actually like afraid of what's going to happen.
Right. He definitely needed more scenes because so much of his was singing scenes that got cut out. So I was like, well, this is, you can argue who the main character is, but he's still like one of the emotional roots of the movie it's his tragedy. It's his life and death. So,
yeah.
He needs at least some attention. So this was just kind of a last minute, like, what can I do to finish this movie?
I think it was effective, though.
I think so. And this was me trying to be like Paul and be like, well, how well can I fake cry?
Yeah. It seems easier before trying it.
It is.
Yeah, it can't be that hard.
And then you do it and you go, I can't keep all of this. Yeah.
I've done that same move twice now in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm looking off and I turn my head.
You do it frequently, because you do that in the greenhouse.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a metaphor, y'all. Paul looking ahead, being distracted, and then finally looking behind. It's a metaphor.
Yeah.
There are things that, that maybe Ralph took for granted, and then until he finally looked behind himself. Look at that.
That's from a photo shoot.
For those of you that can't see, Paul
Earlier
has
this
pulled
year.
up a picture on his phone
Yeah.
of him looking off into the distance.
Charles
Oh, wait,
and-
hold on. We're at the bridge scene.
This is a good scene. This is definitely.
I think this is the best scene.
I think so too. I've said that on record.
Yes.
I'll say it again. This is my favorite.
I'm
scene.
very proud of this scene.
It's good. The first time for the rough cut, I used the music from Revenge of the Sith,
Yes, very dramatic.
where Anakin and Obi-Wan are arguing.
I like the lighting changes.
I do too. Some of it happened involuntarily, but I think we used it to great effect.
So did you do a lot of this lighting in post-production?
No, I did some coloring in post-production,
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's-
and that's pretty much it. The only lighting change that was edited, I guess I missed saying it because I forgot about it until I'm saying it now.
I remember at the premiere, this is when like Parker and Carter were going crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was really proud of the reactions that this got.
People were invested by this point. I loved looking around at Noah was on the edge of his seat too, and this was the first time he had seen that
Yeah,
full
I
cut.
hadn't seen the full cut.
So
And Franco was like
that was one of the happiest I've
pushing
been.
himself into the back of the seat. I remember.
Yeah. And I remember I kept like trying to like apologize to stuff. But the only artificial lighting is there's a moment in the first scene at the very end right before the opening titles where like Noah's face just kind of like darkens a little bit. It's like got clouds coming over him. So I just wanted to give some movement to that shot. But that shadow in that shot is artificial.
I'm more of a man than you'll ever be. Once Ralph kills you, the Hannibal realized you should have been.
We love watching this.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
why we're
fun to
being a
watch.
little quiet.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're not talking a lot.
I love the dialogue here.
I do too.
I think it's some of the best dialogue, really.
I think so. I'm trying to do more of this kind of dialogue. There's been a lot of lessons for us all in doing our next project, and I think this is in a good place. But you can see that already we see what we can do well, and I'm excited because this is ambitious. but
That's the part that I love. The Ralph, I've spotted the Raven.
Ralph!
Yeah.
Because that just shows how like double crossing and how cunning
Oh, yeah.
Simon is.
Like just on a whim. Yeah.
I love how dramatic you guys made it look when Noah like splashes you with water?
Yeah.
That was good.
You were
Yeah.
true for taking the splash.
We only have one bottle,
Instead
so
of
we
trying to cut it out, you know?
Yeah. So, Joe, I have a question about the Raven.
You know, I have an answer about the Raven. Let's see if they match.
Let's say one drop of water drops on Victor. Will he be the Raven for a shorter amount of time because of the small quantity of water?
You know, I would like to think so. While I was writing and thinking about this movie, that's not something I was thinking about.
Like if it's raining outside, he's perpetually getting wet. He's not gonna come back.
I think the idea is that he doesn't transform back until he's completely dry off.
Okay.
So the Raven's always wet.
So the Raven's always a little bit humid. Yeah, that's canon. And if you were ever behind the scenes with me while I filmed him as the Raven, you know that that's true. There's always a little bit of sweat on the Raven.
I love watching Carter and Franco in this scene.
I love them too.
Franco especially, because Carter was actually kind of trying to look dramatic.
Oh, Franco's dramatic. Look at that face. He's got his eyes a little narrowed. They're not smiling. That's what matters.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, Paul's lip syncing
Paul's
here is good.
wardrobe was good here.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah, I
The
was in the
wardrobe
middle-
in this film is very underrated.
That's
Mine?
facts.
I think in general.
In general.
Oh, thank you.
Paul, you're a stylish man.
I remember I was in the middle of watching this show on Netflix called Jane the Virgin,
Uh-huh.
and there was a character in the show that I kind of based that outfit on.
I mean, it works.
It's a very feminine show. I don't know why I watched it. I think someone recommended it to me.
You know, we all have our guilty pleasures.
It's pretty funny.
Our women's shows that we watch. We all have them.
What's yours?
I'll go on the record. I think that the Glitter Force anime is a wonderful piece of art.
Okay.
That's on the record.
It's on the record, boys.
I'll go on the record and say that the original Naruto has got to be mine.
Ooh.
That's
ooh.
your feminine guilty pleasure?
Oh, I didn't know we were saying feminine. I thought it was just guilty
Oh,
pleasure.
yeah.
You know, yeah, you can say any guilty pleasure. That's fair.
My aunt. Oh my God, what's my feminine guilty pleasure?
Do you have a feminine guilty
I
pleasure?
think it's probably the way I stand.
That was a mood. I got messed up in 6th grade.
The way I stand and my hand gestures.
Yeah.
I have very, very stereotypically feminine hand gestures.
It's like someone told me in 5th grade when I did theater for the first time that men and women stand a different way, and they presented it, and I was like, I do both of those. Am I gay? You know. So, now I realize I'm a straight man who just has funny hips sometimes. Look at that man. He has feminine hips.
Great hips.
High-waisted hip. What's the line? I don't know.
I don't know.
You in the comments can fill in the joke I'm trying to make.
Childbearing hips?
Yeah. There was just that John Mulaney line about him having high-waisted hips.
Joe, you've taken maybe 2 bites out of this
I know.
biscuit in the past 50 minutes.
Do you want to eat some popcorn? I've been watching this movie, man. I've been talking. Bro, we made a movie.
We did make. I like the little blood splatters on the tree.
Yeah, that's what
feel
those are.
Unintentional, but
Yeah,
a good.
Just take the compliment.
I'll take the
Just-
compliment. Yeah.
Even if it wasn't intentional,
Yeah.
you used it to your benefit.
This is true. That's what art's about. It's not about doing hard work. It's about using what nature gives you to your advantage.
Sure.
Some people think that's cheating, but that's what art's about. It's sometimes derivative, and that's the beauty of it.
It is sometimes based in cheating.
Yeah.
If that is what you want to say.
Tony Bennett has this quote that if you steal enough times it's just research. And I think that's especially true for this film, because this is pretty much
Do you feel like old age gave Tony Bennett clout?
oh yeah.
Okay.
No, I feel like if he was like a 30-year-old, even with his voice, we would be like, who's this kid nowadays who's trying to sound like a,
Yeah.
he's no Frank Sinatra. He's over there crooning. He's got like a wimpy voice, but because he's old and doing it,
Yeah.
yeah, I still think he's great. He still has a great voice. However, even knowing myself, I don't think I would have respected him if he was a young person.
Yeah. See, old age gave him clout.
Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't know him as a young person at the same time.
Yeah, this
So-
is facts.
Believe it as you may, I'm only a young immortal. So,
Yes.
you know, I'm 19, but I was only born in like 1984.
What?
So it's not like I'm not like an old immortal.
Oh, Tony Bennett. What?
So I haven't seen.
This was a really good scene.
Paul singing. Paul was he made this decision to actually sing while he was lip syncing, which probably improves the performance. But I kept telling him,
Singing in the woods.
I was like, you don't have to do this. Like you did the singing already.
I feel like we underrate Andrew. Because we say Franco wasn't really trying, Carter was trying to try. But Andrew was just
trying.
doing
Oh
it.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, he had the least amount of screen time.
I would like to say that Andrew
Well, he was the shortest.
should end up getting a role in a movie in the future.
Yeah. What kind of role do you think he would have?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Andrew, if you're watching this, let us know what you think you'd be good at.
Andrew, I'll tell you what my openings are. We have Thug number 1 and Thug number 2 are open. Let me know which one you want.
I think Franco would do a good job on those.
That's racist.
Not because he's black.
Thank you, Paul. Very cool.
Thank you. Paul, that's dangerous territory. However, Franco's being considered for those roles.
So did you use the mask as a puppet for this part?
Yeah, I think you can see my finger on the eye hole right here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I definitely can.
Yep,
I can't.
That's the top
Oh, wait, yeah.
fleshy part. That's my finger. Just straight up. That's like my index finger. This is one, I call it the Muppet shot because it's just my hand puppeteering the mask. I filmed this in my backyard after the fact.
Joe, what would you say has had a bigger influence on your art? The Legend of Zelda video games or the Muppets?
This is one of those questions I've been asking myself for, 19 years. I think ultimately The Legend of Zelda has had a bigger impact on my creative career because you can hear it in the music. I feel like there's stuff in the storytelling theme-wise. I don't know. You gotta look deep.
I like the shot of the gang.
Yeah, it's a good gang shot.
We're in a good formation there.
Yeah, you're in a good formation. That was, if you turned the audio on, you would hear that they were joking around. I had not called action yet.
But that gives a sadistic feel.
Exactly.
If you think about it.
I like that about it.
They're all friends. They're just chopping it up.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're just about to get this guy good. In the book, I feel like I could talk about the changes between the book and the movie for this scene
Yeah.
because instead of just beating him to death, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the way that the Raven dies in the book. I don't know if I've said anything.
I'm
That's a
not
good
even gonna
shot.
lie to you. I'm not familiar.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna take.
I've told
credit
you a
for
couple
that.
differences.
Good shot. Dolly zoom on your corpse.
Yeah, it was good. Paul did that. Paul did the filming for the scenes where the Raven's singing.
I remember
that passed.
Joe was skeptical, yeah, dolly zooms don't work, and I'm like,
Well, they're
yeah,
hard.
I know.
And then
they're
you did
really
that.
hard, especially handheld.
And you did that one handheld, and I think it's effective.
Yeah,
But,
I think it
yeah.
helped that your camera had a digital zoom, too.
Yeah. Well, was it digital?
Yeah.
I mean, the lens.
Oh, that was killer. I like that part.
Yeah, when you spit
Digital
on
in
them.
the way that you flip a switch to zoom and not.
And
That's fair, yeah.
here we see Simon got a haircut.
Simon got a
A
haircut. Yeah.
drastic haircut.
Yeah. Yep.
We
So-
could have done some reshoots, Joe.
We could have, but we also had like a week. Ultimately, I think we're glad we
I
didn't
love this
do
part. The
reshoots.
look upon my great triumph. Oh, you just got duped, Ralph.
We got major duped. So yeah, I do want to say about the original way that the Raven was killed, because instead of being beaten to death, what they did is they tied him up. They made a bonfire, and what they did is there was a tree involved, of course, and so they get him tied to this tree, and they cook him to death, and that's what happens. And sometimes they beat him while he's over the fire, but he definitely
He burns to death.
he burns to death. And the whole thing is instead of transforming him back into a human, which, assumedly he does, what happens is, Ralph sees the remains of this kid, and he realizes that, he doesn't realize that it's transformed because of the heat, but he sees that it looks too human.
Yeah.
So that's, he goes and tries to hide it. That sets up that part of the book. The only other main difference is the way that the grandfather dies.
Ooh, this was fun to film.
This was fun to film on both ends, I think. I
One
loved
thing
watching
I don't
this.
understand is why, like, what motive Simon had for committing suicide.
We can
Because
talk
he
about
realized
that.
he couldn't win.
Exactly. He
Because
realized
he did all of this to finally make it so there would be only him and Diana when he realized Diana thought that he was an atrocious person. Mm-hmm. He realized he had lost.
he killed 2 men over this. He was like,
Yeah.
I've done so much for this. I've committed the whole past, however much time this takes to make this work.
Oh, I love this part.
Yeah.
Filming you falling down in the forest was a highlight.
Yeah, that was difficult.
Yeah, that took a couple
Definitely took
takes.
some spills.
Yeah. 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 And Noah was like, do I have to do it again? I was like, I really want this shot. It'll be cool, I promise. I do think this is an effective end. It's very drawn out. I was trying to get to that 40-minute mark after I cut out some scenes. So, but I do think this is an effective beat to add. Just seeing that, just slow down. Because I think it's important that suddenly they are realizing what's all happened,
Part of me would have liked to see Ralph kill himself, too.
Part of me wonders if
Why?
that was appropriate.
From guilt?
Yeah, because he realizes that not only is his grandfather dead, and he has this huge amount of responsibility, but he also...
Now I have to take over the park.
Yeah,
That's true.
and
That's
you
good.
murdered your friend, and you witnessed a suicide. I would have
I
I
Simon
wouldn't like
is my friend or Victor?
Victor.
Okay, I was actually never really in a scene with Victor.
Yeah, not in the movie. I don't know if in the book either.
Yeah.
They don't really have a relationship.
My point is, I would have maybe not a suicide, but I would have liked to see the psychological effects of this on.
In the book,
Yeah,
he's
right.
definitely very depressed because most of the book takes place after it's between his grandfather died
Yeah.
and the time that the climax takes place, because the climax of the movie is
I
basically
love
the climax of the book.
this monologue.
I like this too. This was added in post because I was like, I need a scene that ends the film because I didn't get to film the real scene I wanted to end.
I like the footage that you got here.
Yeah, the balloon thing is just
I like it. It adds a sort of, not necessarily happy note, but a resolution. So yeah, read the book if you want all the differences. I'm not going to say it here.
Still holding on to the balloons.
So, what?
There were those idiots that waited to let go of their balloons.
Right?
Right?
Right? Just let them go. So that was The Raven of Telltale.
We hope you liked it, and we hope you enjoyed our commentary.
Yeah, if you've gotten something from it.
Leave a commentary in the commentary section for what you want to see next.
Drop a like down below.
And remember to check out the yellow tape.
Yeah, listen to the yellow tape. Listen to everything else that's come out since then. This was October 31st.
Yeah.
This was a Halloween movie, baby. So,
I've had no new music since then.
yeah. Go listen to Redemption, my new EP.
Yes.
That's new.
And get ready because Paul is working on a film.
Ooh, yeah, get ready for
Yes.
Paul's movie. That
Yeah.
better happen, I swear.
It really, I think it should.
I want it to.
What did
Sorry.
Blaine and Caitlin do?
They were
I
just
don't remember them being involved at all.
they were there for Joy's shoots pretty much.
Oh.
They just showed up to be PAs and help carry the camera or whatever.
Oh.
So
I
were
think
you
Blaine
given
was your
any,
stand-in
like-
for height.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because he
Joe,
was,
I noticed that you used Felix Mendelssohn. Were you given any copyright issues for that?
bro, this boy's been dead for 500 years. Felix Mendelssohn ain't suing nobody.
Well, I guess that means no one owns his stuff.
Well, his stuff's in the public domain, not necessarily the recordings of it, which is why it's all interweaved in the composing. So that's why there wasn't any legal trouble.
So you performed it.
Technically speaking, it was
I've never watched
orchestrated.
this much of the movie. Is this on YouTube?
This is this is all on YouTube, but I'm playing it as a local file. So this is the part where I advertise the book.
Never even seen your website.
Yeah.
Wait, can you buy a physical copy of
Bye,
the
guy.
book?
All right, this is over. If I have to put anything at the end, y'all, this has been the commentary for The Raven of Telltale.
This has been real.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
I hope you have too.
I hope you get something out of it. Yeah, you can't buy any physical copies of the book. It's only digital. You actually can't even buy it.
Those digital copies.
Yeah, you can only read it for free because there were so many collaborators on it. I didn't feel that it would be right to sell it for money.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like Noah would be like, I pretty much wrote the story here. So
That's not true.
you had a heavy role in defining what happened.
Well, I'm glad.
So either way, it's been swell, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Like I
Leave-
said before, leave a comment
And a like.
and a like.
And make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.
and subscribe to Noah and Paul's channels.
Yes.
Link in the description.
Link in the description to their newest videos as well.
Yeah.
Have a great life.
Yeah. Have a
Thank
great
you.
life.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Love you.